No touch.
I have brought stuff on the porch to set up a still life. I'm going to set up out here in our garden. I think I'm going to set everything up on the edge of that. I'm loving these little purple flowers, and then plus I'll be able to see some of the brick wall in the house. I just walked around the garden, have so many spots to paint here, which I'm so excited about. I've got some plums that are overripe and some bananas, and I'm going to go pick some apples and add that to the still life and just keep it simple. I've got this mug that I love, 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 and these flowers have been, they're geraniums. They've been in my kitchen and they're super happy. Plus I'm kind of loving these little bits of yellow where the leaves are going dead, but they'll be fun to paint. So I'm going to go set all that up. It is a beautiful day out and it's not very windy and it feels amazing. So I'm going to take a break from house stuff and work and go do the fun kind of work. I'm gonna go pick some apples. And see, these apples don't matter if they have worms or some mushy, so I'm just gonna go pick the prettiest ones. Ooh, it's got a leaf, perfect. I think this would be a pretty view also, like the pears hanging down, our conservatory, even though right now it's stuffed with stuff. And then there's an apple tree, a little bit of a house. So I think after I paint the front one, wow. Mister, you are making some noise. Okay, I'm gonna pick some of the crab apples that have fallen down here because these will probably have worms in them. But they're so pretty. See that little thing right there? It's been eating. Ugh, I don't wanna touch that. Okay, oh look over here. There's 50 million. Look at all those. I think Grady, ow, ooh. Wow, that crow, ooh, touching gross stuff, okay. Yeah, look how pretty these are. I'm gonna put some of these in the still life. And then back here, we have this tree that is literally dripping. Most of these have worms on them, unfortunately. So I'm gonna just pick some nice colored ones. Oh, that one doesn't have a worm. Okay, I'll set that aside to eat that. Okay, that goes inside. Ooh, stay little buddy. I'm gonna try to find some big ones here. Watch, probably every one that I grab. No, that one's got smushy. Ooh, there's a big one up there. I need Grady's help. Let's get this one. See, that's got a worm, but the leaves will be nice too. That one's going on the still life. I'll arrange them when I get down here.
Rain is pouring down upon the memory of the storm. Worries in or break down in the cold. Stranded on the side of the long and tired road, I would drive for miles out in the failing light, brave the wind and lightning, and meet you in the night.
Here's that finished painting. This one has already been snatched up and sold, but I have been painting our garden like crazy. The apple trees, the apples. I'm obsessed with this one white weeping willow that we have, and I'm painting it and painting it. It has just been a real source of inspiration for me. I've been picking my apples and making still lifes in the studio, out in the garden. All these are now up on my website, and I'm sure I'll be adding many more to them in the near future. That next weekend, we decided to get out and go visit a National Trust property that's near our house. I think this place is called the Killerton House, and it had amazing gardens. I wish I had done a better job with filming the gardens. I just get too rushed, but they were gorgeous. I painted while Grady hiked, and he had obviously amazing views. He took some footage. I'm sitting here literally editing this video and looking at this footage that he took of these cows, and I'm like, hey babe, like those cows have big horns. That's a little too close for the big horned cow. I mean, that guy's big. Well, he made it through alive. And then I wanted to show you this tree. The scale of this tree, you just can't even really tell from the photograph, but it's massive. And then they built this thing to hold up its arm. Look at that. Wait, do trees have arms? I don't know, but basically that thing over to the left, this tree was huge. It was quite cold that morning, and I just took a very simple setup and plopped down and just painted. I can't wait to go back to actually paint the gardens because they were beautiful. Here's the finished sketch that I did there, and I love how it turned out. I used my watercolor gouache palette as normal, and if you are wondering what I use, I have a full video on this channel with my watercolor gouache, what I use, all the things. But I do enjoy taking this out, and I use the paint quite heavily. That's why it looks very thick and rich. I don't use it sparingly at all. In fact, I think we are thinking about doing maybe a watercolor gouache online class for our next class. If you don't know, I do online classes. Okay, but what I wanted to mention about this, the last video I did was on how Bonar would do these sketches and kind of and paint from those instead of painting from life. So I've been doing that a lot, but this time, because time was short, I just drew straight onto this and then painted, which was fine. I think it's a great way and something I will definitely do in the future when I'm short on time. But now I only have this. I don't have the actual sketch, which would have much more information than this. To me, this is just more of like a finished sketch and gives me color notes. But when I'm short on time, this is definitely what I'll do. This is in my ETCHR sketchbook, the landscape. I absolutely love ETCHR sketchbooks. It's basically my go-to from here on out. I absolutely love them. I do love these little Jackson's ones, as I mentioned in the last video. I keep these in my purse and in my backpack for when I go out. So we are going out today to a National Trust property that I've been wanting to go to. I'm going to take my simple sketchbook that I've been loving that I keep in my purse. I buy a bunch of these. I love these Jackson's sketchbooks. They're very thin, really thick paper, very smooth. I love them. And I've not had full access to my color pencils for quite a while, so I thought I would take those. Last night I sat down, went through all of them, kind of narrowed things down, not knowing that I was going to take them today, but just wanting to get a set out in the studio because I had 50 million color pencils like all together and I couldn't remember which ones I usually use. So I got a nice variety here. I've sharpened them all. And if I have time, which I don't think I'm going to have time, I'm going to do a quick color chart, even though I think I always do a color chart and then literally never look at it. So maybe I won't waste time doing that. But basically, I have my whites here, yellows, kind of fleshy colors, pinks, reds, oranges, browns, a purpley, kind of muted gray colors, greens. I try to put them in like light to dark because I really need to work fast and just grab stuff, blues, and then I've got two kind of blacks here. I'm hoping this isn't going to be too heavy. This is a pencil roll that my mom made. This was like her original, her little very first one that she made for me, and I use it all the time. It's kind of funny because it's just so light. So I'm going to put this in my purse. I already have one of these in my purse and just keep it really simple. Oh, I need to make sure I have a pencil sharpener. Mainly what I've been doing is just like a sketch, you know, like this if I'm out, but then I do like to have color notes. So I've been taking my watercolors when I do that, but I think today I want to keep it super simple because I want to like look at the place. But I do want to have opportunity to make color notes in case I want to make paintings from those color notes. Okay, I'm going to go get ready, maybe do a color chart, head out. Got my black wing in there. Here's a pen that I like to use. It's kind of blue. Well, it's not kind of blue. It is blue. I keep that in there for sketching. I always have one of those Jacksons in my purse. And actually, I'll show you from last weekend. We did a quick outing. I'll film this in better light, flip through, but I had my black wing simple watercolor set up in the purse and did these all from just one short little outing on a weekend with some friends. And it's just enough information instead of taking photos to be able to make more paintings from. I did take a handful of color pencils and my simple watercolor, and that's it. But today I'm going to take this. See how easily, oh, it fits in there so nicely. This, I don't know if that's going to fit, but we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just go back to the car if I need that. I'm sure I can get that in there a little better. And then a pencil sharpener. Maybe I'll pop that right there. Okay, that'll pretty much be okay. Yeah, I can function like that. I thought I'd bring y'all along with us today on this National Trust property. I'm the worst tour guide though. I can't even remember the name of this place. I wrote it in my sketchbook. I feel like it's like All-Around or something like that. It was where two wealthy sisters lived and they were very creative, and they had this really cool house. It was like round, it's all preserved inside, and it was just a really, really cool space. I'm glad we don't do laundry like this anymore. So I took a little bit of footage as we walked around because it was a really cool house. I think here I was trying to take a picture to show you like this corner. It was like this triangle room with books. It was really cool. And then they collected shells like crazy, and they had them all displayed through the house. It was absolutely amazing. And then they had like this one room up in the attic that was called the shell room, and it was literally covered with shells. We couldn't go up there, but you could see it, and it was really cool.
Oh, there you are. There's a little
No touch.
This was what?
It's empty. Did a 20-acre wide estate, which included almshouses. Really is the legacy that they have.
And then up at the top, there was the most spectacular views. I could have just set my easel up and spent the whole week there painting. I was kind of regretting not bringing some watercolors, but I did one pencil sketch, but this was like mid-tour, so I didn't want to make Grady wait. So I just did a really quick pencil sketch, and then I came back later to do a quick color sketch because I thought I really, 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 really want to capture some of the scene in color. There was this tree on this property. Actually, they had 2 of these. I have never seen a better tree in my entire life. Like, if I could have stolen a tree, I would have stolen it. I mean, maybe, probably not, but if I could get one from my own yard, I would. I could not stop looking at this tree. And then when I got up close to it to touch it, it was just the coolest looking and feeling tree of my lifetime. I'll never see a better tree. It was amazing. It's like really hard. It's like real hard too, like pokey. This area was called the music room, I believe, and they had all these little tiny chairs where people could sit to listen to the music. And then in each doorway, there was a bench that would fold down for more seating, which I just thought was so cool. These paintings are good. I wonder who did these paintings. They've got a lot of texture. Did you get that light switch? It's so cute. I want to see that. This is a bigger tub than ours. It's nice. I like the soap dishes. I like the sink. That's pretty cute, isn't it? And then right before we left, I decided to do one more sketch of just some of the buildings. Yeah, I probably could go and just camp out all day at this place and paint. It was so cool. So I ended up just plopping down on the ground really quick to get some color notes. I did take some photos so I could at least, maybe if I wanted to, do some more paintings from it. But if I don't do substantial sketching there on site, I just never go back to photographs. I have pretty much zero interest in painting or sketching from photographs. I don't know why it is. I just don't like to do it. But I'll definitely go back to this place. It was very, very cool. Thought I'd quickly just show you the sketches that I did there. This was just of like the dining room when we were in there, and the tour guide was telling us a little about it. Most of these were just done just very, very, very quickly as we were walking through. This is the one done from that upstairs room, and then this is the color one. Oh, and that's from a dinner, not from that place. And then that next day, I used those 2 sketches that I just showed you to do this, which I just kind of reworked it. You know, I took things from both sketches and made this painting, which I really loved. And I used my watercolor gouache palette. And when I'm in the studio, I do like to just use my watercolor gouache straight from the tube because I can get thicker paint, and I'm usually just sticking my brush like down in the tube. I do have a couple big plastic palettes in the studio that sometimes I'll squeeze paint out, and I just kind of have that sitting around so I can reconstitute it. But it is nice just working with thicker paint straight from the tube when I'm in the studio. So I thought this turned out really good. I wanted to show you sketches from just one day of outing that I went. We went with a family to kind of walk around this little town, and either as we walked or as we had lunch or took 5 minutes to sketch a scene. Like, I just captured all of these sketches just from one day's outing. And then what I did, I've been bringing those kind of sketches back into the studio and making more paintings. So I took the sketches from that day of like this kind of little harbor town with the boats, and some other sketches that I did another time that I visited this same place, plus boats from when we were staying down in Exmouth, and made these other 2 paintings. This one is a really large one on paper that I painted with acrylic. Then this one is one that I did with my watercolor gouache, and you can tell they're both completely different scenes, but I've grabbed little bits from those sketches that I've taken very quickly on location in person. I have a couple things that I wanted to tell you about that I thought you would want to know. I recently did an interview with Katie from the Good Ship Illustration podcast. I have not been doing podcasts for quite a while because they can tend to be a lot of work at times, and we've not had much of the bandwidth to do that. But when Katie reached out to me, I couldn't say no because I love the Good Ship podcast. I listen to it myself. So that is out now. I will have a link in the description below, but also on my website, I have a page where I have all podcast interviews that I've done. I've got a good bit there, and they always range from a wide range of topics. The other thing I wanted to mention was just a reminder in case you're new here, 2 things. I have a newsletter that goes out. It's not like a weekly or anything like that. It's basically a video. It's basically like my YouTube, but a mini version of that. It's much more casual. I've not been posting on it very much because obviously we've had this huge life move, but what I do very regularly is I send out an email that has a little commercial for the YouTube video that goes out every other week. So if you would like a reminder that that's out, and also a little video, and then I will usually put some extra pictures in that email blog post. Blog, is that what it is? No, blog, is it newsletter? I don't know, newsletter, blog, whatever. And then there's just times that I jump on when I have something that doesn't feel like it would take a whole YouTube video and I want more of a casual filming. But there's a whole array of things on, I use Substack. So on my Substack newsletter blog, like a lot of videos. So you can sign up for that and you'll get emails, or you don't even have to like do that. I think you can just get on it. The other thing, if you're new here, I just wanted you to know that I also have online classes. I have still life, landscape, classes on like how I use my acrylics, everything about my acrylics, how I store them, varnish, all the things. How do I prep my canvases, paper, all the stuff. So that is also on my website. You can get to all my places from my website, which is just sandyhester.com, and it's Sandy with an I, not a Y. Anything else I should tell you while we're here having a little chat? Oh, we're also in the beginning works, just talking about the next class, and I think we're going to do a watercolor gouache class, so that will be fun. I think I'll do a landscape and still life and maybe like coffee shop figures and all of that, and how I use my watercolor gouache. That's what we're talking about and working on, so we'll see. I don't even know why we're talking about it yet because we're so like still catching our breath from the move, but that's usually how I do. I'm barely over my overload, and then I want to overload myself again. So I don't know. We'll see what Grady says. He may say, let's pause for a little bit. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go finish my cup of tea, and I'll see you back here in 2 weeks. And I hope that this video was encouraging. Okay, see you in 2.